Shabbat Shalom. Welcome back here to the Light to the Nations channel, and thank you for being with us in the study of the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy.
Yeah.
And we want to welcome you once again in this new Shabbat. I was taking a look in the comments that some of you are enjoying good weather, at least in Florida, in Israel, and some of you also in Kentucky and also in Kansas. I think they are enjoying some kind of weird weather, but few weird things are happening in these days, right?
Yeah.
The weather is so crazy, and as I saw in part of the channel in the chat is that I think all of that is signs of the soon return of the King YaHuWaH HaMashiach. So it's so good to be with all of you here once again to continue with the study. I think we're in the
We're going to say very soon bye-bye to Devarim.
Yes, next week is the last portion, I think.
Today is the song and then the blessings.
And what we're going to do after that?
I don't know.
I don't know either. so we'll see. We will see. So thank you so much once again. I see, many of you connected here, and I'm going to ask your support, actually. If you want to contribute to what we're doing, I see 25 of you connected and 10 likes. So if you can go and just put a like, because I think this thinking YouTube work like this is in order to get to more people. The more like you have in a video, it's much more probable
that is going to appear in the videos
in the feed for more people.
Yeah, when they open the application.
So we're in a small flock, we're small gathering. So if you can contribute with that, it's gonna help others, not us actually, because we're not monetizing any video here.
We're small, but I see the name of Stephen Kamala from Africa, from Kenya.
Really?
And I really love that, because imagine that is like the map at the beginning. We are little lights in different places, and that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And with that, maybe sometimes it's very difficult to have somebody near you, close to your place, but here we are together, shining in different places.
Exactly as Camila said in the last comment in the chat, is that within a small contribution, by just clicking the like, we are somehow helping others in order to bring the light of YaHuWaH through what we are doing all together here, because it's not only Lilian and myself that we are doing, it's just all of us.
Yeah.
Every one of you that are participating in these studies, in this virtual gathering. And even those that are not able to participate live, but are watching this video later on, they're also part of this gathering, this family, and are also contributing to everything we're doing over here. And as you said, I think it is really beautiful that we are in
different places,
you know?
In England, because political, I think that she is from England.
Even from Australia sometimes.
No, it's Arthur and Cornelia too. Yeah.
Yes,
so,
and from Europe.
From Europe.
So it's beautiful, and we are in the in the farthest part of this, in the south of the
bottom,
creation, in the bottom. So it's beautiful the way that YaHuWaH has been connecting us all in these last days, and I don't know how he's going to do it, because in the second Exodus we will need to walk to Jerusalem, and we will need to go from all these different places. We will need to have
strong legs.
Yeah, strong legs and a lot of strength in order to walk all this way. For us, it's at least a
I
long
think that
way.
we're going to walk a lot. Yeah.
So it's so beautiful to think in what's coming, and it's just a matter to see the signs, what's going on in the world, what's happening in the sky with the signs on the luminaries, and to serve as confirmation on the times we are living. And it's somehow amazing to see that this is speeding up day by day. We just need to have our eyes open to understand the times we're living, and more than ever we need to cry out to YaHuWaH to guide us on what we have to do as a light to this world, what we have to do in order to proclaim the name of Yahushua. And we are going to talk about this in this portion, I think. What is our part in the body of Mashiach? What is our part in the remnant on these times? Because as we have been talking in the past, it's not just for us to sit and wait. We can do that, but that's not what YaHuWaH is expecting from all of us. If we're just sitting and waiting, it's like the servant that received a talent, and he decided to bury the talent and do nothing with it. And he received some punishment because of that.
We have to continue living like we're living every day, but with a new light, with every new knowledge that he is giving us, how he is refining us, and just adding that and not hidden our new version. So that's the idea.
Absolutely. So this is exactly what we need to do. We need to put into action what we have received, and to share with others the light of YaHuWaH. And who is that light? Is Yahushua HaMashiach. So, for those of you that just joined a few minutes ago, I'm going to ask once again to contribute with what we're doing by just liking this video. I see 17 likes. And we have 30 people, so go on. We're missing just, 13.
Maybe they don't like 13, it. Maybe they don't.
If you don't like it, I understand. But if you like it, please go on, please. Just to spread this word to more people. So today we're going to study the chapter 32 of the book of Devarim. Devarim, do you remember what it means, Devarim?
Devarim is palabras, words. And
actually this song begins on the first verses with the words of my mouth. I'm still working in the song. There was this melody that I received and I was playing here in this study a few weeks ago. And, I'm taking some parts from the Psalms 90. And also I decided to take, and I failed to take it from the first few verses of this song, Devarim chapter 32. So I'm still missing the bridge, the part of the bridge of the song, so it's not finished yet. So as soon as it finishes, most probably we're going to
upload it.
Yeah, I think we're going to record it, and we're going to upload as a song available here in this channel. And, we have a beautiful family gathering the other day. In Chile, we were celebrating somehow
the
national days because of the Independence Day of the country and so on. It was holidays. And we have a beautiful gathering with the family. And it was very beautiful because we were singing and praying a lot.
Praising YaHuWaH.
Yes, and remembering our times, old times from church, and singing together. And actually, what we said that we are going to record something, and I don't know how long it will take. I don't know when it's going to be ready. But I told all of them that if we are going to record this, we're going to upload this into the Light to the Nations channel, so everybody can enjoy the songs and the singing.
And the beautiful thing is that the national days that we celebrate, a lot of the customs that we have are very similar with Sukkot, and they are very close in the time. We have this kind of sukkah. We do it in that place, and the typical clothes are like the clothes representing a lot of the stuff that we can find in the Torah. So that's beautiful. Even the shofar. So That's nice.
That's true, though the shofar they're
Maybe
using it for
now
other
they're
purposes.
they're
but-
using for something different, but at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
And it's so
something.
beautiful to see those connections that sometimes in the custom of each one of our countries, we see small pieces, tiny pieces sometimes that are a resemblance or connected directly to the word of YaHuWaH. So, yes, it's good. It's good to have those kind of encounters and to find more ways to share the good news.
Yeah.
Because I think all of those kind of things is a way to share the good news of Mashiach. So we need to just be attentive and use every single opportunity that we have in order to share the message. We were it was after Shabbat last week. Yes, we were invited also to a Jewish friend. She was celebrating Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah.
This is the way that we know the Jewish people call the first day of the
The
seventh month
Yom Teruah.
instead of calling it Yom Teruah. And it was beautiful to partake this time with them because she invited more people that are not believers, and we have the chance to share some things with them.
Not in a pushy way.
Exactly, not be pushy, not in a confrontational way, but also to share few things about what is the true meaning of this celebration, and also to share about the name of Yahushua.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing that we need to do, is to proclaim the name of Yahushua, because through him we have salvation. That's actually the name, the meaning of his name.
Yeah. Salvation of YaHuWaH.
So I didn't want to bring my guitar, but she was pushing me, "Don't bring your guitar." I think it was a good idea. So thank you for pushing me on doing that, because we were singing a few songs with them, and it was I think it was a beautiful moment. And we have been discussing this, and I think I shared with all of you in the past week, is that Mashiach was going to the sinners, the tax collectors, those that were in need of the message of salvation. He was not restraining himself of not participating in these kind of things, or to go to the people that were in need of the light. What he was not doing is not to commit sin, not to participate in sin, because he is without sin. But he was not refraining or restraining himself to go and reach those in need. And this is exactly what should be our attitude. And I don't know if you, but I feel that this is exactly what we did by going to this invitation.
It was very beautiful.
So today, as I said, Devarim chapter 32 and Hasinu, and is 52 verses, I think.
Yeah.
And we are going to go through the song. This beautiful
In the meaning of Hasinu,
witness. What is the meaning?
Give ear.
Listen, give ear.
Yeah.
Good. So, we need to keep our family in prayers. We've seen many people in need. We have heard about many people that are going through difficulties, some diseases, or trials, tribulation. Today, I got an email from a sister that I don't know what's the reason, but she got caught by marshals, and she's in prison. And she's been moved from Texas to Florida, and that happened, I think, at least 2 weeks ago. And we received this communication
from her
husband today, asking for prayers. Her name is Judy, so keep her in your prayers, so YaHuWaH can make a way out for her to get out from that place. And that YaHuWaH can use her in the meantime in order to bring light to the people around her. As I told you, we don't know the reasons why that happened to her, but she is a daughter of YaHuWaH, and we need to pray for her. in order to have the strength, in order to endure this tribulation, this situation, and to ask Abba for his will, his desire, and for a miracle. You know, in the email that I received from her husband, Marcos, is that, you know, we have seen so many beautiful miracles done by YaHuWaH through the name of Yahushua in the book of Acts. That when the Kepha Peter was incarcerated in prison, even a strong malachim, was coming in order to set him free. So it's time for us to start believing and begin believing in these kind of things. You know, this is something that has been in my heart for weeks already, is that we have been studying so much the word of YaHuWaH for years, and learning the truth, learning the righteousness of the word, the righteousness of the kingdom of YaHuWaH. But by learning this righteousness and this truth, we have also been able to see the powerful hand of YaHuWaH Elohim in every single chapter of the scripture, in every single book of the scripture. He's revealing his truth, he's revealing his righteousness, but also he's revealing his mighty hand. What are the signs and wonders he's doing and has been doing throughout history of humankind? He has not changed. He is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And by the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, we have the strength to do many things, even more mightier things that even Yahushua himself did, because that was Yahushua's promise. So the only thing we need to do is to believe, is to remove any doubt from our hearts, is to feel the empowerment that Yahushua himself gave us and is giving us. We have been reading, you know, a beautiful book.
I always remember about the story of YaHuWaH there, because he also was in prison.
You're right.
And what it was saying, because it was saying that at the end, sometimes bad things that happen to us is because our Father has a purpose. And we don't know maybe at that moment that our suffering is going to bring something even bigger, is going to form our character. And not only that, maybe it's a step for doing something that couldn't be done if we were not there. So like YaHuWaH, and when YaHuWaH said to the brothers, it was not you who delivered me, it wasn't the plan of YaHuWaH. And that this is the way that he has for saving all the family. So sometimes all our struggle, maybe the pain that we are having, if we look at them with these eyes, we are not going to see the hand of YaHuWaH behind us. So
we need to wait always in him,
and asking him.
But as we have been also sharing with you in the past, it's not a passive waiting. We need to be an active waiting, not to be sit and waiting, is to do and waiting.
And maybe not because of not ask why I'm living this, is asking him, what is the purpose that you want for me? What should I learn from this? How can I be a vessel for you? So I think that's...
You know, this morning I was reading a few passages in the book of Acts, and just many things came to my mind, to my thoughts, to my heart. And one of those that I was reading is in the chapter 5 of the book of Acts. And Kepha was, Peter was witnessing in front of the rulers and in front of the religious people of their times. And you know, they decided to let them go, the rulers of the time. This is in the chapter 5, the verse 41. And actually they received some, they were punished basically from the rulers. But this is exactly what they said in the verse 41 of the chapter 5 of the book of Maaseh, book of Acts. Then indeed, referring this to Kepha and John, YaHuWaH, then indeed they went rejoicing from the presence of the council, because they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name, the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. And daily in the set apart place and in every house, they did not cease teaching and bringing the good news, Yahushua, the Messiah. So, this is something that I found really interesting, because they were in the open places and also in every house. And even though they went through suffering, they were punished, they were put to shame, they were just enjoying within themselves, because they understood what was their calling, to proclaim the name of Yahushua and the salvation we have through his name. And this is exactly what should be our mindset every time that we're doing through any type of tribulation, every time that we're going through persecution. And persecution, we know, will increase in these last days. There are so many people talking that we need to be attentive what's going to happen in the month of October, November, December of this year. Many people believe that many things will come to the world, and it will increase even in more difficult times. I don't know if this is true. I don't know what's going to happen. The only thing I know, and I think we all know, that the word of YaHuWaH is true, and the word is saying that difficult times will come.
And we need to be ready.
And we need to be ready for that time. How to be ready is clinging on him, understanding that any tribulation we have to go through is for his purpose, is because he wants to do something through us. And in the same way that I was reading, Kepha and YaHuWaH were so enjoying and with joy in their hearts, because even though that they were put to shame, they were doing it in order for the kingdom of YaHuWaH to be established on earth and to proclaim the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. That should be our mindset. That should be our position, that we're doing it for our Master, our Adon, Yahushua HaMashiach. So, without delaying this too much, I think let's go to... It's failing to open the mouse. So, let's go and have a song to share with you. So, let me put this one here, and then we will begin with the study. So, here we go.
לא שאותנו תיהר מפשענו, שרים אנו שיר אהבה. תיקן את דרכנו, ריפא את נפשנו, גילה לנו את מי האב. ועתה בואו אליו, נישא את קולנו, נשתחווה לאדון, מלך עולם. הוא גואלנו, אלינו ירד ממרום, והוא עכשיו לימינו של האב. ישוע עשה התמים, א' בתיו. לא שרוקן את עצמו מכבוד, שרים אנו שיר אהבה. הלך אל הצלב בעד השמחה, לעשות רצונו של האב. ועתה בואו אליו, נישא את קולנו, נשתחווה לאדון, מלך עולם. הוא גואלנו, אלינו ירד ממרום, והוא עכשיו לימינו של האב. ישוע נחיה את חיינו כל יום כמו שיר אהבה. נמות לעצמנו כי במשיח קמנו איתו לתחייה. ועתה בואו אליו נישא את קולנו ונשכח ולעדוד מלך עולם הוא גואלנו. אלינו ירד ממרום והוא עכשיו לימינו של העם. ישוע עשה התמים הלב אתה. שרים לו שיר אהבה נשיר לו לעד לעד. ועתה בואו אליו נישא את קולנו נשתח ולעתון מלך עולם הוא גואלנו. אלינו ירד ממרום והוא עכשיו ימינו של העם. ישוע עשה התמים הלב וטל. ישוע עשה התמים הלב וטל.
So with this spirit, let's pray together. Let's pray to YaHuWaH, our Elohim. We want to give thanks to you in this moment because of this new Shabbat, because of this opportunity you give us to have this gathering with your children around the world, because you have put the desire in our hearts to serve you, to seek your face. You have put that desire in our heart to know you, O YaHuWaH. And we come to you in this moment with that desire to seek your face continually, to ask you, Abba, to guide us in your truth, to ask you, Abba, to give us of your strength, to give us more emunah, YaHuWaH, that we can continue walking in this way of righteousness, your way of righteousness, till the end, enduring until the end. And we want to give thanks to you, Abba, because it's not because of us that we are here. It's because of your compassion, because of your love, because of the oath you made with Abraham, with Yitzhak, with Yaakov, with your covenant, Abba, because you are faithful to your word. And through Yahushua, you have given us the opportunity to come back to you, YaHuWaH, with all our heart, in order to be part of your people, Israel. In these times of difficulties and tribulations is when we need you the most. And we pray to you with all our heart in this moment, asking, YaHuWaH, that you can remember your people, Israel, that you can restore us in these times, and you can remember your remnant of your people, this generation, that are seeking you continually, this generation that is loving you with all our hearts, this generation of your remnant, O YaHuWaH, that is waiting for you, for the redemption that you already brought through the hand of Yahushua HaMashiach and his offering in the stake, because you already brought the restoration, O YaHuWaH, and through him we're able to be saved. But we're waiting day after day for that coming, the second coming of your son Yahushua, who is coming to rule the entire world, who is coming to establish your kingdom here on earth, who is coming to restore all things to the very beginning, to restore all things to the way you created. Give us of your faith and give us of your strength. Give us of your Ruach HaKodesh, because that was a promise of your Son YaHuWaH, that he was going to send another helper in order to guide us in all truth, in order to make us remember the words of your Son YaHuWaH. And we know that you are faithful to your word, and that promise is a reality in these times. Give us of your Ruach in order to have the strength and the power to endure until the end. There are so many of your children that are going through difficulties. We pray in this moment for Judy. We ask you, to do your will for her. And in the mighty name of your Son, YaHuWaH HaMashiach, we command any evil spirit that's making tribulation in Judy, that depart from her in this moment. And we ask, that you can make a way out for her, and you can use her as an instrument of YaHuWaH in order to bring light into those dark places, that you can give her the strength in order to endure these trials, that you can touch the heart of the people that are working and reviewing the situation she's going through in order to have a way out from the place she is. There are so many of your children that are going through diseases. I ask you, that you can strengthen their bodies. And I command in the name of YaHuWaH HaMashiach that there any disease is coming out from their bodies. You have given us the power, your power, through your Ruach HaKodesh, in order to pray for those that are sick, in order to be whole once again, in order to receive their health back. And we believe in your word and in your promise, and that's why in the mighty name of your Son, YaHuWaH HaMashiach, we command restoration for the bodies. We command restoration of those hearts that are broken. We command restoration for the emotions, and deliverance for the traumas of the past. We believe in your word, and we have the emunah of YaHuWaH HaMashiach and his testimony. And in this time, we wait on you, knowing that your presence is with us. Guide us in this study today. Guide us in your truth. Speak to us through your word. Instruct us, in your ways. Because the only thing we want to do, YaHuWaH Elohim, is to serve you with all our heart, is to give praises to your name, and to praise the name of YaHuWaH HaMashiach, because we belong to him. He is our King, our Melech. And thank you, Allah, for showing us your compassion and your love by sending him to die for us. Because through him we have expectation of a better life. Because through him we have the promise to be part of your kingdom. Because through him we have restoration and forgiveness of sin. Forgive us, Allah, and cleanse us through the blood of YaHuWaH HaMashiach. Remove anything that's not allowing your presence to flow through us. And let your rivers of living waters, that is your Ruach HaKodesh, to flow in ourselves, in this temple you have created. We believe in you and we praise your name, YaHuWaH. And we want to give thanks to you in this moment, because we know and we feel your presence among us. Guide us, Allah. Guide us and teach us your ways. In the mighty name of your Son, YaHuWaH, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Oh, let's do the part in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shalom and welcome to Parsha in 60 seconds. Today's portion is from Deuteronomy 32, 1 through 52. It is called Ha'azinu, which means listen. Moses asked that his speech be like rain and dew for the grass and proclaims that God is perfect and his children are unworthy. Moses reminds the Israelites that God chose them as God's own people. God found the Israelites in the desert and watched over them like an eagle on his nest. God would give the Israelites everything, and like spoiled children, they would abandon God for false gods and demons. So God would hide his face from them and bring judgment among them, but would not wipe them out. When other nations would come against Israel thinking that their own might was causing Israel's judgment, God would rise up and avenge the servants of God. That day would be a great day of judgment and cleansing. Moses and Joshua recite all these words as a poem to the people. When Moses finished reciting, he told them to take his warning to heart and teach their children, for it was very serious and their very lives were at stake. Moses then climbs Mount Nebo to see the land of Canaan and die, because he had struck the rock to produce water in the wilderness of Zin, failing to uphold God's sanctity among the Israelite people. And that is Ha'azinu in 60 seconds.
Ha'azinu in 60 seconds. So I don't think Moshe was with an nunchuck.
Yeah.
But it was
I
funny
can
to see it. So let me put the scriptures here in the screen and let's do it. So it's not this one, but let's go to Devarim chapter 32. And you know what we should do? We should read the song in its entirety, and then we should go back and try to share what we have in each one of the verses. That's okay?
Okay.
Okay, so we're not going to take that much attention to the chat, just for you to know. So if you have any comment or you have any question, please keep it till the end, because sometimes I'm keeping an eye on the chat, but I cannot focus on what I want to and what I feel to share. So that's why we aren't not checking the chat that often, only until the end. I hope you understand. Okay. So let's go and let's read it. So I'm going to read the first part and then you read the second part. So it says, "Give ear, O heavens, and let me speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth." I'm reading this now and it's going with the melody. It's kind of funny. "Let my instruction fall as rain, my speech drop down as dew, as fine rain on the tender plants, and as showers on the grass. For I proclaim the name of YaHuWaH, ascribe greatness to our Elohim. The rock, his work is perfect, for all his ways are right ruling, an El of truth and without unrighteousness. Righteous and straight is he. A twisted and crooked generation has corrupted itself. Their blemish, they are not his children. Do you do this to YaHuWaH, O foolish and unwise people? Is he not your father, who bought you, who created you and established you? Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask your father and let him show you, your elders and let them say to you. When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the boundaries of the peoples according to the number of the children of Israel. For the portion of YaHuWaH is his people, Yaakov his allotted inheritance. He found him in a wilderness and in a wasted, holding desert. He encompassed him. He made him understand. He watched over him as the apple of his eye. As an eagle stirs up its nest, flutters over its young, spreading out its wings, taking them up, bearing them on its wings. YaHuWaH alone led him, and there was no strange mighty one with him. He made him ride in the heights of the earth, and he ate the fruit of the fields, and he made him to draw honey from the rock, and oil from the flinty rock, curds from the cattle, and milk of the flock, with fat of lambs, and rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats with the choicest wheat, and you drank wine, the blood of the grapes. But Yeshurun grew fat and kicked. You grew fat, you grew thick, you are covered with fat. So he forsook Eloah, who made him, and scorned the rock of his deliverance. They moved him to jealousy with foreign matters, with abominations they provoked him. They slaughtered to demons, not Eloah. Mighty ones they did not know, new ones who came lately, which your fathers did not fear. You neglected the rock who brought you forth, and forgot the El who fathered you. And YaHuWaH saw and despised, because of the provocation of his sons and his daughters. And he said, let me hide my face from them. Let me see what their end is, for they are a perverse generation, children in whom there is no trusting. They made me jealous by what is not El. They provoked me with their wordless matters. But I make them jealous by those who are not people. I provoke them with a foolish nation. For a fire was kindled in my wrath, and burns to the bottom of Sheol, and consumes the earth and its increase, and sets on fire the foundations of mountains. I gather evils upon them. I use up my arrows upon them, wasted by scarcity of food, and consumed by heat and bitter destruction. And the teeth of beasts I send upon them, with the poison of serpents of the dust. The sword bereaves from the outside, and fear from within, both young man and maiden, nursing child with the man of gray hairs. I said, I should blow them away. I should make them remembrance of them to cease from among men.
My turn. If I did not feed the enemy's taunt, lest the adversaries misunderstand, lest they say, our hand is high, and YaHuWaH has not done all this. For they are a nation lost to counsel, and there is no understanding in them. If they were wise, they would understand this. They would consider their latter end. How would one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, unless the rock has sold them, and YaHuWaH had given them up? For the rock is not like our rock. Even our enemies are judges. Their vine is of the vine of Sodom, and our of the fields of Amorah. Their grapes are grapes of gall. Their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the poison of serpents, and the fierce venom of cobras. It is not stored up with me, sealed up among my treasures. Vengeance is mine, and repayment. All the time their foot sleeps. For near is the day of their calamity, and the matters prepared are hastening to them. For YaHuWaH rightly rules his people, and has compassion on his servants, when he sees that their power is gone, and there is no one remaining, shut up or at large. And he shall say, where are the mighty ones, the rock in whom they sought refuge? Who ate the fat of their slaughtering, and drank the wine of their drink offerings? Let them rise and help you. Let it be a hiding place for you. See now that I am he, and there is no Elohim besides me. I put to death and I make alive. I have wounded and I heal, and from my hand no one delivers. For I lift my hand to the heavens, and shall say, as I live forever, if I have sharpened my flashing sword, and my hand takes hold on judgment, I shall return vengeance to my enemies, and repay those who hate me. I make my arrow strong with blood, and my sword devours flesh, with the blood of the slain at the captives, from the long-haired enemy's chip. O nations, acclaim his people, for he avenges the blood of his servants, and returns vengeance to his adversaries, and shall pardon his land, his people. Then Moshe came with Hoshea, son of Nun, or Yahushua, son of Nun, and spoke all the words of this song in the hearing of the people. And when Moshe ended speaking all these words to all Israel, he said to them, set your heart on all the words with which I warned you today, so that you command your children to guard to do all the words of this Torah. For it is not a worthless word for you, because it is your life, and by this word you prolong your days on the soil, which you pass over the Jordan to possess. And YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe the same day, saying, Go up to this mountain of the Avarim, Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab, which is the opposite Jericho, and look at the land of Canaan, which I gave to the children of Israel as a possession, and die on the mountain which you ascend, and be gathered to your people, as Aaron your brother died on Mount Hor, and was gathered to his people, because you trespassed against me in the midst of the children of Israel, at the waters of Meribah Kadesh, in the wilderness of Sin, because you did not set me apart in the midst of the children of Israel. For you are to look at the land before you, but not enter there, into the land which I am giving to the children of Israel.
Wow. So I think the first thing we need to remember that what was the purpose of the song, and I think it's just a matter for us to go one chapter back, and yeah, maybe you can put it over there. It's in the chapter 31.
Okay.
And we are going to read from verse 16 onward. It says, And YaHuWaH said to Moshe, See, you are about to sleep with your fathers, and these people shall rise and whore after the mighty ones of the strangers of the land, into the midst of which they shall enter, and forsake me and break my covenant, which I have made with them. Then my displeasure shall burn against them in that day, and I shall forsake them and hide my face from them. And you know, there are so many, he's repeating almost the same words in the song. And they shall be consumed, and many evils and distresses shall come upon them. And it shall be said in that day, Is it not because our Elohim is not in our midst, that these evils have come upon us? And I shall certainly hide my face in that day because of all the evil which they have done, for they shall turn to other mighty ones. And now write down this song for yourselves, and teach it to the children of Israel. Put it in their mouths, so that this song is to me for a witness against the children of Israel. So the whole purpose of this song is to serve as a witness. And that somehow is beautiful, because we have been called to be witnesses as well. What Yahushua said to the disciples, that he was sending them, meaning he is sending us too, to go on to be witnesses in all the world. So what it means to be a witness? What it means to be a witness is to testify of something.
That's something that you live,
something that is true,
or that you experience, and that you can back up that.
Exactly.
And that is true, effectively.
There are false witnesses as well, but this is a sin unto the eye of YaHuWaH. So a witness needs to be a true witness. Also, a witness is speaking something, is sharing something, as you said, that has seen, has heard, has experienced. And so it's a testimony. And this song is a testimony of something. It's not the testimony of Moshe, as you were telling me before the broadcast. This is the testimony and the witness of YaHuWaH himself. Because this song is coming from him, and he was instructing Moshe to write it down and to teach it to the children of Israel. It's coming from his mouth.
Yeah, even though we know it as the son of Moshe, it's like the son of YaHuWaH at the end. And he made it because of mercy. So we, at one point, everybody who is in the middle of the trials, or maybe receiving a lot of problems, or as it says in the song, can realize why I feel that I am abandoned. It's not because I don't have YaHuWaH anymore in my life. And then we can understand all the process.
And that's good. What is a good word is that a witness is a demonstration of compassion. Because, as we were talking to Cristobal yesterday, is that YaHuWaH is so compassionate that even though that we made mistakes, first, he sees if we are doing it by ignorance
or with
or
intention.
for intention. If we're doing with because ignorance, he's so merciful, so compassionate that he is taking our hands and he's teaching us and he's revealing us that maybe what we are doing is wrong, and he is instructing us in the right path.
And how to repair that situation. And
Yes.
that's why we were keeping Yom Kippur.
And even though that we are sometimes disobedient, he's patient. And he's patient because of his love and his compassion. Because, he's not bringing punishment directly. He's not being severe immediately. He's waiting and he's giving opportunities. He's waiting until we are decided to repent, to do teshuvah, and to go, as we were telling Cristobal yesterday, from the wrong path to the right path, from the evil to the good. And even though that when we are stiff-necked and we don't understand and we continue doing bad, and even that he's going to take a road and just to punish us, even that situation is because of compassion, because he wants us
to stop
it, and in order to take us back to the true path. So we see in all these ways, in all these examples, the compassion of YaHuWaH. And what I'm talking about is because the witness, as you said, is a way of showing compassion. It's just for us to remember that we should not go through the wrong path. Is that if we realize, as the prodigal son realized that he was making a mistake and he departed himself from his father, at the moment that he woke up and he realized, he made a decision. It was the Ruach, most probably, in this parable, waking him up, just opening his eyes to realize where he was. In this case, in the same way that YaHuWaH gave us the tzitzit for us to see it and remember, he's given us different witnesses in order to remember him, in order to remember his path, the path of righteousness, the narrow way, the one that Yahushua is leading us in order to receive the reward. And when we think in this way, it's making us even more powerful, the fact that Yahushua has been calling us to be witnesses. Because if we take the post and we are witnesses, we are acting in the compassion of YaHuWaH. Compassion for whom? For everybody. If we are not becoming witnesses, we are not allowing the compassion of YaHuWaH and his love to flow through us. I want the compassion of YaHuWaH to flow through me, because it just coming to my mind, to my heart, is what Yahushua said, and we have been talking about this recently, is that the world would know us because of the love between each other. And that love will be a witness to others. Because of that love, they will know that we are Yahushua's disciples. So, how not to want, to desire, to let the compassion of YaHuWaH to flow through us by being witnesses of Yahushua, in order to bring light on those that are in darkness, to bring salvation to those who are in that need, to fulfill our purpose. And that song, that we're reading about, is serving exactly the same purpose. So let's go back to the chapter 32. So You know, the first thing that I, when I was reading this again this morning, I was thinking it's beautiful to acknowledge and to notice that YaHuWaH love music.
Yeah. And maybe when he gave this to Moshe, maybe it was even with the music.
Most probably with the melody.
Mm.
Maybe he was receiving,
Yeah, maybe.
hearing
Yeah.
the song. Not only the lyrics.
Mm.
It's not like we are copy and pasting sometimes the lyrics.
Mm.
No, he was receiving the entire song.
That's why he called it a song.
Yeah, exactly. He was telling him this is a shir, a song.
Mm.
And this morning I was reading how Yahushua was defending himself when he was tempted by Shaitan in the wilderness. And when Shaitan was telling him, the trier came and said to him in Matthew chapter 4, verse 3, "If you are the son of Elohim, command that these stones become bread." But he answering said, "It has been written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of YaHuWaH." So from the mouth of YaHuWaH are coming words, in kind of a speech, but also are coming words in songs. And we see this just to give additional examples, and that's why I was looking in the book of Revelation. We see when the 144,000 in the chapter 14 of the book of Hasson, Revelation, it says in the verse 3, and they sang, actually let me read the verse 2. "And I heard a voice out of the heaven, like the voice of many waters, and like the voice of loud thunder. And I heard the sound of harpists playing their harps." So this is coming from Shamayim, their music in the Shamayim. And it continues saying, "And they sang a renewed song before the throne and before the four living creatures and the elders. And no one was able to learn that song except the 144,000 who were redeemed from the earth." So in the same way that YaHuWaH was giving a song to Moshe with the purpose of being a witness for his people, he's going to give a song to 144,000 that only them, they're going to know it. And, I was thinking on this this morning is that how come they are gonna be the only one able to learn and know this song? What do you think?
Maybe it's through a revelation. I don't know, maybe through a dream. Maybe he's going to download the melody and the music.
¿Y qué pasaría si fuera una canción en otro idioma? Y a lo mejor solamente ellos saben en ese idioma.
Maybe it's going to be in the language of YaHuWaH.
Uh-huh.
Because he has his own language, the language of the creation, the language that at the beginning everybody could understand.
And it's spoken in Spanish in purpose, by the way.
Yeah. I knew. And after the Babel incidents is when all the other languages appear. So we couldn't understand anymore the original language. Even the Hebrew that we think that maybe is the most closest language to his word or to his language, I think that it is not quite yet his own language.
I spoke in Spanish in purpose, and maybe some of you that we have the chance to meet in our last trip to the States, I gave exactly the same example. We need to have the ability to decode the message. If I speak in another language, you are not going to be able to understand me. You need to have the way to decode the message in order to understand. You are going to be able to hear me speaking something, but we are not going to be able to understand. Daniel was the only one in the chat. Most probably he was able to understand what I was speaking in Spanish because he has the way to decode the language. So could it be that maybe the 144,000 are going to receive a new language?
Maybe.
That only them are going to be able to decode the language, and that's why they are going to have the ability to sing it.
It could be.
So it could be, but the point that I wanted to make is that YaHuWaH is revealing song. Music is in the Shemaim. And actually, we go to the chapter 15 of the book of Revelation. It says, and I saw another sign in the heaven, great and marvelous, 7 messengers having the 7 last plagues, for the wrath of Elohim was ended in them. And I saw like a sea of glass mixed with fire, and those overcoming the beast, and his image, and his mark, and the number of his name, standing on the sea of glass, holding harps of Elohim. So we are gonna produce music. And they sing the song of Moshe, the servant of Elohim, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are your works, YaHuWaH El Shaddai. Righteous and true are your ways, O sovereign of the set-apart ones of the Kadoshim. Who shall not fear you, O YaHuWaH, and esteem your name? Because you alone are kind, because all nations shall come and worship before you, for your righteousness have been made manifest. So that's why every time that we praise him, every time that we sing and we do it with all our hearts, we feel something different, because words produce something, and those words are directed in order to esteem and provide kavod to his name. He will be in the middle of those people. That's why, in the book of Psalms, it's saying that he lives and he is among the praises of his people. So YaHuWaH thinks in music. YaHuWaH likes songs, and that's why he's providing this witness to Israel. So give ear, O heavens, and let me speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth.
Yeah, his 2 witnesses, the heaven and earth. So,
So the 2 witnesses, all over the places, heaven and earth, are 2 witnesses. The words of my mouth. YaHuWaH is always speaking. The words of my mouth, it means that it's not a thought. It's something out loud. Words of my mouth. I can speak very loud, very slowly, and you're not able to hear me. You can hear me, but maybe they are not able to hear me. If we're going to use our mouth, we need to use it properly, speaking up. That's exactly what he's saying here. And remembering what Yahushua said when he was fighting with Satan, he said that we are going to live by the words that are coming from the mouth of YaHuWaH. So the words are written over here, they are silent. But every time that we speak, those words become alive and vibrate in order for others to hear them. And actually, I think this is going to connect with another passage that I was reading this morning. And they're going to be able to resonate and vibrate within them in order to be stored in their hearts. That's the way that a seed is being planted in the soil. That seed needs to enter somehow, and the only way that it's going to enter is by speaking the words of YaHuWaH that is written here and also written here in our hearts, speaking them up. So let my instruction fall as rain, my speech drop down as dew, as fine rain on the tender plants, and a shower on the grass. So what do you think on this passage?
that is really beautiful, because the dew is like the conversion of the one state of the water that is the, I don't know how to say, gas state, gaseoso.
In gas, yes, in a gas state.
Yeah, and into the solid one, into the liquid one. And like that, it says, is going to drop down as dew. And the dew, what does the dew get? Everything
Wet. And
completely.
actually,
It's like a baptism, like a tevilah.
at the beginning was only dew on the earth.
Yeah.
You remember in the Garden of Eden?
So it's a kind of a tevilah, that everything that is going to receive it is going to be covered by the water. So I found it really beautiful. It's his instruction.
But there is something even more beautiful over there.
That is the second part.
No, it's rain everything that he's talking about, he's comparing this to water. Instruction falling is coming from heaven as rain. A speech, the words of his mouth, drop down as dew. That is watering everything.
It's like when you plant the seed, you need after that you need to put some water. So after that, it's going to
As fine rain on the tender plants. Again, water. And as showers on the grass. So everything that is talking about the instructions and the words that are coming from his mouth compared to water. He was talking about the latter rain. And what's the latter rain? Is the outpouring of the Ruach HaKodesh. You know, YaHuWaH was talking about the Ruach of Elohim, giving also examples of water, living water coming from our innermost. So I think what he's talking and he's reinforcing in this song, that though he gave in Mount Sinai, and actually this was the way we want to put a figure of speech. He was bringing these instructions from heaven at the top of Sinai to Moshe in order to write them down. But also he's providing the Ruach of Elohim that is bringing that water in order to grow. So when I saw it this morning, I found it really beautiful, because again, is walking and worshiping YaHuWaH in the truth of his word and in the spirit. Is the spirit the one that is bringing that water we need in order for that seed that was planted by YaHuWaH in the soil to grow? The instruction of YaHuWaH. And when I was reading this, I remember my dream.
Yeah, because it
this
says
fine rain,
the dew.
Fine rain that were coming from one place to the other, painting everything with these two beautiful colors. So let's continue. It says, "For I proclaim the name of YaHuWaH, ascribe greatness to our Elohim." So what it means to proclaim the name of YaHuWaH?
Is the name that you are going to say. Even is something, is a thought that I have for a long time. Why usually when a new baby is born, why always the father and the mother are trying to teach him, say dada, say mom? Why is not our first thought to teach him to say the name of YaHuWaH? So everybody can proclaim from the very beginning. The first word that is coming out from your mouth is his name. And he's proclaiming his name because his name is everything. His name is the past, is the now, is the future. So his name is life, his name is creation. So proclaiming the name is that you are backing up his name. You are being a witness of his name.
And when you see the word proclaim,
That you're going to,
what's the meaning for you?
that you're going to be a witness. You're going to share it with somebody.
How?
You're not going, I don't know, for instance, if somebody asks me anything, I'm going just to include him in every conversation that I have.
Yeah.
Even though maybe the conversation could be something, I don't know, very common, but usually he is present in my life in thousands of ways. So I'm going to choose maybe a moment, an example where he has been present in my life, and share that experience with somebody so they can know him.
Yeah.
So
the Hebrew word behind proclaim is kara.
What's the meaning of kara?
And the meaning of kara has been translated in different ways, but it goes back to the book of Bereshit, when YaHuWaH was creating everything. When he said, and he called this light and this darkness, the word call is the word kara. So calling means to speak. It's to speak the word. And actually there are beautiful examples on this. Go ahead.
Just today I learned this because some Hebrew friend, he was explaining this the same, because it says in the translation that we have, it says, and he created the day and he created the night, or he created the light, and it's not the same. The meaning that we understand in English or in Spanish, created usually is from something that it already exists. But in Hebrew, that word kara, it means that you are doing something from nothing, and only can be attributed to him. So everything is only his attribute, because he is the only one who can do something from nothing.
That's beautiful. And actually, I just came here to the chapter 1 of Bereshit, Genesis verse 5. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So it has the implication and the connection with a name. When Adam was putting names to the animals, the word used is karai, the same one that is being used as proclaim. And the beautiful, just to make some connection here, is we go to the book of YaHuWaH or Joel, chapter 2. At the end of chapter 2, it says, talking about the end times, and let's read this entirely. And after this it shall be that I pour out my ruach on all flesh, connected to what we were seeing in the song about the rain, the showers, the dew, and so on. And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Could it be that maybe some are the tender plants, maybe young men and maidens? Other ones are, are the grass, thinking on the sun. Your old men dream dreams. Your young men see visions. And also on the male servants and on the female servants I shall pour out my ruach in those days. And I shall give signs in the heavens and upon the earth, the two witnesses, blood and fire and columns of smoke. The sun is turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the coming of the great and awesome day of YaHuWaH. And it shall be that everyone who kara on the name of YaHuWaH, everyone who calls on the name of YaHuWaH shall be delivered. For on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem there shall be an escape, as YaHuWaH has said, and among the survivors from YaHuWaH calls. If we do an extensive study of the word kara, we will find this is connected to names, is connected to cry out, is connected to speak, not to think. To pronounce is to use our lips, our mouth, to speak up. That it means that we need to proclaim the name of YaHuWaH. And when we go to the book of Acts,
so maybe I was wrong on the word that he was translating, because I remember that it was
after they receive in Pentecost, in Shabbat, in the upper room, they receive, all of them receive the Ruach HaKodesh. We see that, Kepha gave this amazing word to everybody, and we're going to read it. It says in the verse 14, chapter 2, verse 14 of the book of Acts, Maaseh. But Kepha, standing up with the 11, lifted up his voice. So they were not speaking like this, just thinking. They were speaking.
So
everybody was able to hear in order for the seed to go through the ears and go to the heart. And said to them, men of Yehuda and all those dwelling in Jerusalem, let this be known to you and listen closely to my words. Speaking and listening, hearing. That's the meaning of the beginning of this song. Hear, give ear. For these men are not drunk, as you imagine, since it is only the 3rd hour of the day. But this is what was spoken by the prophet Joel. And it shall be in the last days, says Elohim, that I shall pour out my ruach on all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And also on my male servants and on my female servants I shall pour out my ruach in those days, and they shall prophesy. And I shall show wonders in the heaven above, and signs in the earth beneath. Wonders in the luminaries and in the heaven, and signs in the earth. Who is going to do those signs? Signs and wonders.
Yeah.
He is going to do it through us, through his ruach working in us. Blood and fire and vapor of smoke, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood, before the coming of the great and splendid day of YaHuWaH. And it shall be that everyone who calls on the name of YaHuWaH shall be saved. And here Kepha do a beautiful connection. After he was reminding them about this prophecy in Joel, about those that proclaim or calls on the name of YaHuWaH shall be saved. He continues saying, Men of Israel, hear these words, Yahushua of Nazareth, a man from Elohim, having been pointed out to you by mighty works and wonders, and signs which Elohim did through him in your midst, as you yourself also know, this one, given up by the set purpose and foreknowledge of Elohim, you have impaled and put to death through the hands of lawless men. Him Elohim raised up, having loosed the pangs of death, because it was impossible that he could be held in his grip. For David says concerning him, I saw YaHuWaH before me continually, because he is at my right hand, in order that I should not be shaken. For this reason my heart rejoiced, and my tongue was glad. And now my flesh shall also rest in expectation, because you shall not leave my being in Sheol, nor shall you give your lovingly committed one to see corruption. You have made known to me the ways of life. You shall fill me with joy in your presence. Men and brothers, let me speak boldly to you of the ancestor David, that he died and was buried, and his tomb is with us to this day. Being a prophet, then, and knowing that Elohim had sworn with an oath to him of the fruit of his loins, according to the flesh, to raise up the Messiah to sit on his throne. Foreseeing this, he spoke concerning the resurrection of the Messiah, that his being was neither left in Sheol, nor did his flesh see corruption. Elohim has raised up this Yahushua, of which we are all witnesses. Therefore, having been exalted to the right hand of Elohim, and having received from the Father the promise of the set-apart Spirit, he poured out this which you now see and hear. For David did not ascend into the heavens, but he himself said, YaHuWaH said to my master, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. Therefore, let all the house of Israel know for certain that Elohim has made this Yahushua, who you impel, both master and Messiah. So, what's the point that I want to make here? All the people thought that they were drunk. And under the inspiration of the Ruach HaKodesh, Kepha was giving all this message. And he was connecting the prophecy on the book of Joel about the outpouring of the Ruach HaKodesh. But not only that, it's about proclaiming or call on the name of YaHuWaH. And what are the two things that he is doing in this message? He's providing the evidences of the outpouring of the Ruach HaKodesh, but also he's proclaiming the name of Yahushua. So when we proclaim and we call in the name of Yahushua, it's like we are proclaiming and calling in the name of YaHuWaH. So what it means to proclaim, as coming back to the song, proclaim the name of YaHuWaH, is exactly what Kepha is doing. And just to give an additional example of this, in the same book, in the chapter 5, so here's when Kepha was set free from prison. And here they are in front of the rulers that they were persecuting and the religious people all the time. It says in the verse 27, and having brought them, they set them before the council, and the high priest asked them, saying, did we not strictly command you not to teach in this name, in the name of Yahushua? And look, you have filled Jerusalem with your teaching, and intend to bring the blood of this man upon us. And Kepha and the other emissaries answering said, we have to obey Elohim rather than men. The Elohim of our fathers raised up Yahushua, whom you laid hands on, hanging him on a timber. Him, a prince and a savior, Elohim has exalted to his right hand to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. And we are his witnesses to these matters. And so also is the Ruach HaKodesh, whom Elohim has given to those who obey him. So the Ruach is also a witness.
Mm.
So coming back to the proclamation, what it means to proclaim is exactly what Kefa is doing, is to speak up and to proclaim in the name of YaHuWaH. Now in these times, we need to proclaim the name of Yahushua, because Yahushua, the Son, and the Father are one, are echad. When Yahushua was telling it was Philip, I think, I don't remember the name of the disciple, when he was asking, but Master, show us the Father. With only with that we are happy. He was saying, but how long I have been with you? I'm telling you, if you are looking at me, you are looking at the Father. I'm just paraphrasing, but this is exactly what he said. So if we proclaim the name of Yahushua in the same way that the disciples were doing here, we are calling, we are speaking up, being witnesses for the name of YaHuWaH.
We don't have
YaHuWaH
to be afraid of doing that.
Absolutely.
We have to just fear YaHuWaH, not man.
It says the rock, his work is perfect, for all his ways are right ruling, an L of truth and without unrighteousness. Righteous and straight is he. And if we take a look in who is the rock in the Tanakh, it's referring to YaHuWaH. Who is the rock in the Brit Hadashah in the New Testament?
It's Yahushua.
It's Yahushua. What it means that both of them are echad. Are echad. So, if we read in the book of Romans, if we read in the book of First Peter, they're all of them are talking about the prophecies in the book of the prophets, talking about that Yahushua has become the chief cornerstone. But also for those who believe, but it has become a stumbling rock for those that are not believing. So he is the rock. Even in the book of Hebrews, talking about that he was the rock in the wilderness, providing water for the thirsty. So we need to proclaim the name of Yahushua. This is exactly what the word is missing so much in these times, because Yahushua is the salvation of YaHuWaH. Is the manifestation of YaHuWaH in the flesh.
His right hand.
Right hand, his son, his beloved son. So, this part is so relevant, especially when we are talking about what is the rest of the song. If we go to the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 24 to 27. It says, and this is so relevant if we read this in context, because it's talking, in the previous verses. We're going to read entirely. Not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, should enter into the reign of the heavens, but he who is doing the desire of my Father in the heavens. Many shall say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and done many mighty works in your name? Every time that I read this one, I picture myself people working with the power of the Ruach HaKodesh. In order to do all those things, we need to be empowered by the Ruach of Elohim. So being empowered by the Ruach of Elohim, worshiping YaHuWaH and serving YaHuWaH in the Ruach, is not enough. It's not enough.
It's only one part.
It's only one part of two. We need to serve him also in truth. And it's the Ruach of Elohim who is going to convict us, and he's going to guide us in the same way that he has been guiding us, all of us, so far, to understand the truth and to live according to the truth. Because even though that they are doing all these mighty works with the power of the Ruach of Elohim, Yahushua will say, and they I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. They are breaking Torah. And in this context is what Yahushua is talking the rest, and this is the relevant and the connection to the portion. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and does them shall be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. Who is the rock? Is the chief cornerstone, Yahushua HaMashiach. And the rain came down, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock, strong foundation. And who are those? Those are hearing the word and not hearing only. What Yaakov said, don't be a hearer only, be a doer of the word. Is hearing and doing, is understanding and living through that truth every day in our experiences. Because he continues saying in the 26th, and everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them, just hearing, not doing, shall be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain came down, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and they beat on that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. So,
but now you can see that the trials are going to be equal for the righteous people and not the wicked people.
Yep.
So we don't have to be sad if we are facing trials, because it's the just way that our Father is testing everybody.
If we are in the rock, even those trials and the storm is coming, we are not going to move. And this, that foundation
needs to be different.
Is by hearing the word and doing. And what YaHuWaH said is that we are going to live by every word that is coming from the mouth of YaHuWaH. So it's his entire word. And with the power of the Ruach HaKodesh, we're going to be able to do it, because it's the Ruach, the one, as YaHuWaH said, that is going to remind us of his teaching and the word, because he's going to speak what he's going to hear. Okay, so let's continue. A twisted and a crooked generation has corrupted itself, their blemish, they are not his children. Do you do this to YaHuWaH, O foolish and unwise people? Is he not your father who bought you, who created you, and established you? So, what's the beautiful thing of this song? And I think you told me this yesterday. That somehow it's going through, first, it's timeless. It's applicable to every generation of Israel. And also it's going through times. It's coming from the beginning to the end.
And to our life. From the beginning that we are here until the end of our lives here.
So who is a foolish person?
Is when we are far away from him. We were foolish. We were foolish people. And what is beautiful? Even though we were foolish, we were adopted by him. Because at that moment when we were far away from him, we were not his daughters or sons. And at one point when we accepted his invitation, then he said, okay, do you want to be my children? Then you have to behave like you are from my family. So this is the way that the things are being done in my house. You have to do all this. So that's the Torah. That's the instruction that he gave us. That is how he wants us to live. So seeing that he has that willing of adopting us is something so beautiful.
This is the beautiful thing, you need to connect the verses, because here we have a description of who is a foolish man or woman. Is those that are hearing only and not doing. And actually, if we search for this word, even, and this is something also beautiful. Let's see here.
Who has despised your name? Foolish people has despised your name.
This one.
Yeah.
Yes. This one that is despising his name, that's true. But there is another one that basically is, I cannot find it now.
Without knowledge.
Yes. It's not having the knowledge of the word of YaHuWaH. It's just hearing and not doing, and we are going to be able to understand by, yes. So the foolish person is saying that YaHuWaH doesn't exist. And this is exactly what we're reading in the chapter 31. It's YaHuWaH is not anymore. That's why we don't see the signs, we don't see these things that are written in the word. That's a foolish person. So,
or when people says, oh, the YaHuWaH exists, why we have all this suffering, why we have all these bad things happening, is because they haven't read what is written in the Torah.
absolutely.
That is the result of our own bad actions as a humanity. Or I don't know if it's humanity, as all the human beings in the world.
Absolutely. So let's continue. Let's see what is written over here, because if not, I'm gonna keep it in my mind. And here it is. The fool has said in his heart, there is no Elohim. They have done corruptly. They have done abominable unrighteousness. No one does good. Elohim looked down from the heavens on the children of men to see if there is a wise one seeking Elohim. So a fool is the one denying Elohim, doing abominations, doing what is wrong, not doing what is good, doing unrighteousness. And a wise one is the one seeking Elohim, believing in him. They have all turned aside. They have together become filthy. No one is doing good, not even one. Have the workers of wickedness no knowledge? What he was saying, Yahushua, in the chapter 7 of Matthew Yahu. Depart from me, your worker of wickedness, or doing lawlessness. No knowledge, okay? The workers of wickedness are a fool because they have no knowledge. Quit up my people as they eat bread, and do not call on Elohim, proclaiming the name of Elohim. There they are in great fear, where no fear was, for Elohim shall scatter the bones of him who encamps against you. You shall put them to shame, for Elohim has rejected them. Oh, that the deliverance of Israel would be given out of Zion, when Elohim turns back the captivity of his people. Let Jacob rejoice, let Israel be glad. And we see exactly the lack of knowledge, and we see a connection here. Let me go there. I told you that I had everything in my mind, but I couldn't put it in paper. So it says, maybe you can look for it, because it's much easier for me to look here in the scripture than in the application. Yeah, it's that book. Let me see the chapter. The chapter is the chapter 4. We're going to read it almost entirely. It says, hear the word of YaHuWaH.
Where?
In the verse 1.
Okay.
Hear the word of YaHuWaH. Again, give ear, you children of Israel, for YaHuWaH has a case against the inhabitants of the land. For there is not truth or loving commitment or knowledge of Elohim in the land. Those who are with lacking knowledge are foolish people. And it came to my mind the parable of the virgins. Wise and foolish. The foolish without enough oil. And there is a reference of the oil in the sun as well. Swearing and lying and murdering and stealing and committing adultery have increased, and bloodshed follows bloodshed. Therefore the land mourns, and everyone living their languages, with the beasts of the field and the birds of the heavens, and the fish of the sea are taken away. However, let not one strive or reprove another, for your people are like those striving with a priest. And you shall stumble in the day, and the prophet shall also stumble with you in the night. And I shall make your mother perish. My people have perished for lack of knowledge, because you have rejected the knowledge. I reject you from being priest for me, since you have forgotten the Torah of your Elohim. I also forget your children. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. My esteem they have changed into shame. They eat the sin of my people, and lift up their desire to their crookedness. And it shall be like people, like priests. And I shall punish them for their ways and reward them for their deeds. And they shall eat but not be satisfied. They shall hoard but not increase, for they have stopped obeying YaHuWaH. So the lack of knowledge, everything that I was reading here in this chapter somehow is exactly what YaHuWaH was telling Moshe that was going to happen, written down in this song. So let's go back to Devarim chapter 32. That's why we need to ask YaHuWaH in the same way Shlomo was asking YaHuWaH to give us wisdom. And where is the wisdom? It's here. It's the wisdom of the word of YaHuWaH to become a witness. So what else we have here? Maybe we should not go verse by verse. If not, we're going to take 5 hours.
Yeah.
And we are almost in time.
Mm.
So you have specific things to share?
This part that I love it. It's like, I think that when he's speaking about Jacob and how he worked on him, it's like the same that he did with all of us. It says he found him in a wilderness. It's when he found us.
Yeah, in desert places.
He encompasses him. So he was surrounding us also. And he made him understand. I remember when he made me understand that he was everything. So I know that it was maybe the same with you. Maybe you were lost somehow, and at one point he revealed to you, and he was near you in a lot of different ways, just to tell you that he is everything in your life. So I found it really, I don't know, he is awesome the way that he's working with us. So beautiful. And then what in the verse 15, it's like, I don't know, it's like the human condition. After we receive the blessing, after we have everything, I don't know, we are content and everything, we are satisfied with food, with maybe our house, sometimes we tend to forget him, and we tend to look in some other places. Why we want to do that if we have everything because of him? It's a kind of dangerous maybe zone, and we have to pay attention to that, because that is the moment when we are more vulnerable to leave him and replace him with something else, with maybe thoughts or teachings from, I don't know, other that are coming from other places. And we do not have to fall, because that is a trap. It's a trap just to take you or take us down in the road. And that is the way that the enemy has to take us away from our Abba. He wants us to be next to him, to continue be there, and that we don't have to look to anything else that is not him. He is the only thing where we have to put our thoughts, our eyes. He is the one who is teaching and revealing everyday things to us, not the rest of the things.
I just saw something here in the verse 18. You neglected the rock who brought you forth, and forgot the El who fathered you. So again, YaHuWaH is always saying, remember me. Don't forget me. So this is something that it should be, written down in our hearts, in our thoughts, is to remember YaHuWaH all the time, understanding that he is the one providing us everything in life, even providing life itself. So until we connect with Yahushua, that is our Adon, that is our rock, manifested in the flesh, both of them being Echad, is every time that we don't proclaim his name, as we were taking a look in the book of Acts, somehow we are neglecting our master. we're neglecting our master. And actually, this is somehow connected to what is one of the questions that are asked here. I think it's in the verse 6. Do you do this to YaHuWaH, of foolish and unwise people? Is he not your father who bought you? And we know that
We
we were bought
by the blood of Yahushua.
by the blood of Yahushua. So every time that we are not proclaiming the name of Yahushua when we have the chance, Yahushua himself said that everyone that is proclaiming, I'm just paraphrasing, you will remember what is written, proclaiming my name in front of man,
I'm going
to witness
for you
before my Father.
Yeah.
So it's always working
in our benefit.
in the two directions. It's like we need to sow the seed in order to get food. If we don't sow the seed, we are not going to have the fruit of the land. So it's the same thing. If we are not proclaiming the name, what reward, what expectation we are going to receive. We need to sow the seed first. We need to do the action, not hearing, only doing as well.
In this part where it says, let me hide my face from them. Let me see what their end is. Wow. It's like, okay, I'm going to hide my face. I'm not going to look. But anyhow, he's looking because he knows.
He knows everything.
He knows everything. And he knows if we are moving in that direction, okay, our end is there. So he knows everything because he has a vision that is from above everything.
But I think you gave this example last week.
Yeah.
When we're talking about, because in the chapter 31, he's always saying that he was going to hide his face. It's like, I'm speaking to you, not looking at you.
Yeah.
I know that I'm speaking to you, but how do you feel?
Yeah.
It's like not picking or taking all the attention to you.
Yeah.
Is that not, even I know I'm not checking on you in this moment. So having him looking at us is where we are going to have all his attention for us.
Yeah. And it says, you are like children whom there is no trust in. And I imagine this part is like when your dad wants to say something to you, maybe you're playing and you said, when you're little, not now, and you were saying, no, leave me alone, I'm going to do this by myself. And okay, the dad said, okay, do it by yourself. And then he's looking from some other point there. And he is watching the mess that we are doing until maybe at some point the intelligent child is going to let him know and to ask him, well, can you help me? If not, he's going to even to disarm everything and he's not even going to finish playing. So it's like that.
Well, in this point, I think it's a beautiful connection. It says, let me hide my face from them. Let me see what their end is, for they are a perverse generation, children in whom there is no trusting. They made me jealous by what is not ill. They provoked me with their wordless matters. But I make them jealous by those who are not people. I provoke them with a foolish nation. So this is interesting because first talking to Israel that there are foolish people. And we saw already connecting many verses what it means to be a fool, what it means to be a foolish nation in the words of YaHuWaH. Hearing, not doing, with lack of knowledge, not believing in YaHuWaH, doing unrighteousness, doing wrong. But he's saying at the same time, in the same song, that he is going to provoke to jealousy to his people with a foolish nation.
Maybe that's the way that human works sometimes. When they don't have the whole attention and they see that somebody else is being taken care of, then we want to behave. Then we want to pay attention. And I think that's why he's doing all that.
So the wise Shaul, Paul, was talking about exactly this one. And we are going to read it because it's a beautiful passage. It says in the chapter 10 of the book of Romans, the following, we are going to read from verse 11 onward. It says, because the scripture says, whoever puts his trust in him shall not be put to shame. Because there is no distinction between Yahudi and Greek, for the same master, YaHuWaH, of all is rich to all those calling upon his name, upon him, is proclaiming the name. And he again reinforced the same thing that we were taking a look in the book of Joel, and Kepha, Peter was talking about that. For everyone who calls on the name of YaHuWaH shall be saved. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without one proclaiming? So he's going backwards, exactly in the same thing that we have been talking so far. The words of my mouth, proclaiming, using our mouth in order to proclaim the living words, making them alive by speaking them up. So if we speak them, somebody else is going to be able to hear. If they hear, they are going to be able to believe. And if they believe, they are going to be able to call upon the name of YaHuWaH, call upon the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, YaHuWaH salvation. And how shall they proclaim if they are not sent? If they are just sitting down in their cave and not going because the cave is so comfortable. And it's speaking to us first. Sometimes we are so comfortable in our sofa. Instead of going out and do all of this in order to be a real witness as the song that we are reading about. As it has been written, how pleasant are the feet of those who bring the good news of peace, who bring the good news of the good. However, not all obey the good news. For Yeshayahu says, YaHuWaH, who has believed our report? So then belief comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of Elohim. But I ask, did they not hear? Yes, indeed. Their voice went out to all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. And this is so beautiful that he's quoting the book of Psalms 19, because the book of Psalms 19 is talking about the luminaries in the sky, in the heaven, that they're speaking without voice, meaning that the good news are also in the Shemaim. You know, if somebody's not speaking, it's just to have the knowledge to see the luminaries up there, just to understand what's the good news of salvation and the kingdom of Elohim. But I ask, did Israel not know? First Moshe says, I shall provoke you to jealousy by those who are not a nation. I shall enrage you by an unwise nation. And Yeshayahu boldly says, I was found by those not seeking me. I was made manifest to those not asking for me. And to Israel he says, all day long I have stretched out my hands to a disobedient and back-talking people. So who is that foolish nation? If we continue reading the chapter 11, especially the chapter 12, and the entire book of Romans, actually, because it's a beautiful book, it's talking about all of us. It's talking about the nations. And we know that among the nations, if Ephraim, if we see the book of Hosea, is talking about the house of Israel becoming a foolish nation, and that foolish nation being somehow lost among the nations of the world. So even though that we were foolish,
if we hear,
we are going to become wise.
And we're going to be cultivated in the olive tree.
If we hear and do, we are going to be exactly being grafted in the natural olive tree and become part of his people and his remnant.
Yeah.
And that's the way that he's going to provoke them to jealousy. It's beautiful how the word is being connected all over the place, you know.
And I think all what is described from the verse 21st to the 25, there are a lot of disaster and things, bad things, is what is happening today.
Yep.
And all those terrible things are for waking up those who are sleeping, because still we have people who are sleeping and who are lost somehow. And maybe sometimes there could be even described as countries, when you can see what is happening as a country, how the governors are doing all the kind of new laws and things like that. But not only as a country, also as individual inside of a country. When we are far away from YaHuWaH, then we are sleepy. So it's for those. And
you know, for me, this is really interesting. The 43, all nations acclaim his people. Nations, the world, acclaim his people, Israel, the remnant. For he avenges the blood of his servants, and returns vengeance to his adversaries, and shall pardon his land, his people. You know, this talking about forgiveness and restoration to his people is talking about the restoration by the hand of Yahushua in his second coming. When we read about the fifth seal in the book of Revelation, it's talking about, you know, his servants that are dead, claiming, crying out to YaHuWaH, until when we need to wait. They have been killing your servants, your prophets.
But he's
coming, you know, we read in the chapter 19 of the book of Revelation, he's coming in order to bring vengeance on those that are destroying the earth, on those that are destroying the righteous. He's coming in order to restore all things, and to restore even first the remnant of his people, as we have been talking here in the previous studies. He is restoring first his people, because it's through his people Israel that he's going to use in order to restore all things on earth. We are going to be sent. We are going to send out to the nations in order to bring the good news. That's why we need to put in practice now by bringing the good news to anyone that we are able to do it.
And in the 46, I don't know if you wanted to say something else.
Go ahead.
It says, set your heart on all the words with which I warned you today, so that you command your children to guard to do all the words of this Torah. So I think this is a very direct instruction from Abba to all the fathers and mothers, that this is something that you need to transpass to your children. This is the first education that you need to give them. More important than the university degree, more important than arts, anything else. This is the first thing that they need to know, the Torah. This is where we can find life. He says this is life.
Yeah. And actually it's connected to the narrow path, because if you continue reading this part, but it is not a wordless word for you, because it is your life. And by this word you prolong your days on the soil which you pass over the Jordan to possess. It's the narrow path. It's difficult because our surroundings make it difficult. But we need to push forward in this narrow path, in the path of truth. And I like it what you said, because it's somehow related to the video that Karen sent us. This lady speaking that about neuroscience and Torah. And I don't know if you remember, but she was saying at the beginning, you know, in the past, they were not going to schools, to college, to universities to learn about math, history, and so on. You know, the only knowledge is the Torah. And actually she was saying that's why
kings were going
consulting with people knowing the Torah of YaHuWaH. And she gave the two examples that are beautiful examples. Joseph. He was providing wisdom to Pharaoh in Egypt. And Daniel, he was, you know, exalted to a high position in Babylon because of his wisdom. And it wasn't his wisdom, it was the wisdom he learned from the word of YaHuWaH and by the Ruach of Elohim working through him. So yes, the first thing we should learn at home is the word of YaHuWaH, is the righteousness of YaHuWaH, is the truth of the kingdom. So I think we can keep it till here, just not to extend that much. So let me go and I'm gonna put the chat in front of us. If you have any question or comment you want to share in the chat, we are just taking a look in the chat at this moment. So go ahead, and we are just reading the chat now. It says, Second Esdras chapter 7 talks about just how narrow the path is, compressed. That's true.
And sometimes remember that once I was telling you, I don't know if I shared this, that when you see a narrow path, also is because there are very few people who walk through it.
Yes.
You have a wide way is when a lot of people go there. But we see it with the cows, that when one is following the other one, so it's also like everybody's doing the same like the rest. So they are echad.
And there is something more. Order. If you have more space, the probability to be a huge mess is higher. If you have a narrow space, as you were describing, all the cows, they are going one by one. Or maybe two by two, like in the Ark of Noah. Just, walking orderly. So what else? Yarash is saying, in the multitude of counsel, there's wisdom. That's absolutely true. Hard pressed on every side for top reason. Yes, that's true. It's hard pressed in order for us to be polished, to be a diamond. Actually, not a diamond, it's to be a precious stone.
A gem.
Yep.
The one that can reflect beautiful colors.
Yep. Regina, love you both very much. We love you too, Regina.
To everyone.
Yara shared a beautiful verse, Juan Carlos. Zephaniah 3:17. Let's go there. Zephaniah 3:17. YaHuWaH, your Elohim, is in your midst, is mighty to save. He rejoices over you with joy. He is silent in his love. He rejoices over you with singing. Yeah.
And that part is so true. He's silent in his love. Wow.
Yes. And the singing music connected to joy. And in the midst, in your kerev. So it's exactly, connected to the Ruach of Elohim. YaHuWaH, your Elohim, is in your midst. He's going to be in the midst on his land physically through the physical manifestation of the Word made flesh, Yahushua. But also in this temple, he's in our midst, in that special place where is the temple of the Ruach of Elohim. That's a beautiful verse. Thank you for sharing it, Yarash, and for reminding us, Camila. So what else we have here? YaHuWaH, your Elohim, in your midst. Yeah, it's the same thing. Very few that find the narrow path, and even fewer who stay on it. That's true. And unfortunately, we are seeing today people falling astray. Yeah, and we need to pray for everyone. And the world is going astray in this time. That's why we need to shine the light of the truth of the Word and the kingdom of YaHuWaH. That is Mashiach. I want to shoot on that verse all week. Yarash, thank you. Amen, Juan Carlos. This teaching was being very inspirational. To be a disciple of Yahushua. Let us all proclaim him to others is so important. We are surrounded by such darkness. We are his light. That's absolutely true, Jimmy and Maria Isabel.
Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom, Beetlejuice. So it's been a beautiful time together, Though we don't know the melody of the song, we need to remember is that it's a witness. I put in some melody to the first two verses, but we need to remember that is the purpose of the song is a witness, not for condemnation. It's a witness for us to wake up, to remember YaHuWaH,
to go back to his path.
It's to be wise and not foolish. It's not to neglect the rock. It's to remember the rock and to embrace it and to take care of the rock, because that rock is our salvation. As Yahushua was giving this parable, if we are going to be wise, we are going to be standing and building our house. What is our house? This body. This is our house. And when we think collectively, when we think as an assembly, if we think as a body of Mashiach, as the remnant, all together, we are also a temple, we are also a house. So in order to build all together this big house, first we need to start by ourselves. This house needs to be built up in the foundational rock. And how we do that is by following the leadership of Yahushua HaMashiach, proclaiming his name, but also in the same way that he showed us his example, is by hearing the word and doing the word, and by walking with this another helper, is the Ruach of Elohim, that is also a witness, as we were reading in the book of Acts. So think on this, pray about it, and we need to seek YaHuWaH, seek Elohim, as we were reading in the book of Psalm. A righteous person, a wise person, is the one seeking Elohim continually, and this is exactly what we need to do: seek him.
Yeah, and
seek
there, James will remind us about the next festivity that we have with YaHuWaH is the Sukkot. So we wish you and everybody who is going to keep this festivity next week, or when you're going to do it, that you can perceive his spirit. You can feel that YaHuWaH is with you, that he is among us, that he wants, and I think that he's expecting also, like we are expecting, that day when can be everybody together in his new Jerusalem, when he can be there with him. So maybe it's going to be the last one, maybe it's going to be a couple of ones, we don't know. But every time that we are going to celebrate this, we have to imagine, okay, maybe next year, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that there is some brothers and sisters are keeping Yom HaKippurim this weekend. Some of them are keeping Yom HaKippurim next Friday. We are in different calendars, but I haven't sharing this is the most important thing. Now we are in the learning process, is to keep the word of YaHuWaH, again, hearing and doing,
and
to be
having
wise,
the desire to keep
having the desire. He is going to be the one that is going to put us all in sync in the true times, and I'm convinced of that. We need to continue researching, and we need to continue researching for all truth, including the seasons and the times and the calendar. But the most important thing is that let's keep with all the desire of our heart his appointed times, because we are living in the last days, and the most important thing, as we were studying today, is doing. We have heard, now is the time to do, and to do with all our hearts. So we pray to YaHuWaH, is that he is going to be with you in this appointed time season, that his presence and his Ruach will guide you in all truth. And the most important thing in this time, that he is going to empower us. I think it's so important that together with the truth, that he is outpouring his Ruach HaKodesh, in order to have that power, as Yahushua said, in order to fulfill the service for the service that YaHuWaH has been calling all of us for these last days. So that is our prayers and our request to YaHuWaH in these times. So once again, thank you so much for being with us, and we hope and we pray that YaHuWaH will be with you all this week, in this Shabbat, and in this Moedim season. So we'll finish with a song, as we always do.
Cling to YaHuWaH all the time.
And we'll see each other next week. So if you have not liked yet this video and you like it, please go ahead again. This is, you have to spread the message to more people. So go and click the like if you like it. So see you next week. YaHuWaH be with you all. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Bye.
נתן לי את שפתיי, את שיריי ומילותיי, סקו לי אל אלוהי, תהילה לאדוני, תהילה לאדוני. הוא נתן לי את ידיי, בהן אביא לך מימי, אשא כפיי אל אלוהי, אמך אזקף לאדוני, אמך אזקף לאדוני. הוא נתן לי את כל אלה, ובכל אלה אהלל אותו, בכל ליבי בכל נפשי בכל מאודי ארומם את שמו. נתן לי את רגליי, ושומר את צעדיי, וכשרוחו הטוב עליי, אקדיש מחול לאדוני, אקדיש מחול לאדוני.